Hey guys, my name is Alexia. I want to tell you a story about how my mom almost got fired from her job because of me. Well, almost because of me. The thing is, I revealed her secret, and it took a long time for my mom to believe that I did in fact know. Anyway, my mom had been working at a big company for a very long time. She got a job there as a rank and file specialist, and through hard work, she got to the top. My mom rose to a good position, gradually, leading a department after department, until finally she became a commercial director. It took many years and took all of her time, during which I was growing up, and my father mainly raised me. And he was the homemaker in our family, cooking dinner, cleaning, etc. My father's friends are often mean to him. Well, to them, only a woman should do the housework. Hey, Steve, what's for dinner? Hey, Steve, is it true your wife won't let you call yourself a slacker? Steve, you're a real happy man. You never get upset. Is it because your wife won't let you? And there are a lot of jokes like that until my father just stopped talking to them. He made that decision on his own, without my mom's input. He used to work as a manager, but he didn't make it in his career, but my mom did. Someone needed to take care of me at the house, and Dad just supported Mom and took over raising me. I don't think he was weak. On the contrary, he shared the responsibilities realistically, and that's worth a lot. Mom was eternally grateful to him for that. Once, Mom started a new project. It took up all her time, and she was hardly ever home. Plus, there were staffing changes at the company. Managing new people was still starting from scratch. She was very tired and irritable. We tried not to bother her too much. Mom noticeably lost weight, said that sometimes she does not have time to order food because there is no time. So my dad asked me to take lunch to her right to work. Plus, I had gotten an A in my exam that day and wanted to brag. My dad made her favorite beef stew. We wrapped it up nicely, and I drove to her place. I went up to the 17th floor and freely entered the office. The receptionist wasn't there, and my mom wasn't there, so I decided to surprise her and hid in the closet. But, in a minute, my mom wasn't the only one in the office. My heart started pounding hard. There was a young guy there with her, and they were having a very nice chat, and then my mom hugged him. You know, at that moment, I wanted to come out of the closet, throw the stew in his stupid face, slap him with a piece of meat, and at the same time, I knew that my mom, she was to blame too. My world shattered and shattered into little pieces. I didn't do anything. I just sat in the closet and then someone called my mom and they left. I think he was called Lester. Then I left too. I gave her lunch to the homeless on the way out and went home. I lied to my dad that my mom was out and left the stew for the receptionist. When Mom came home in the evening, she pretended that everything was fine, that nothing had happened. Dad asked her about things at work, and she just kept saying that everything was fine and kissed him. We sat down to dinner. What great stew, honey. You're on top of it, as always. Didn't you eat it today? No, when would I? Alexia said she left the stew for you through the secretary. Mom promptly looked at me, and I looked at her. Then, Mom quickly said that apparently the stew smelled so good that her secretary ate it all instead. At this point, I decided it was time to go on the offensive. I didn't want our family to fall apart just like that, and I could see how much my dad loved my mom. I followed that Lester. He was an interesting guy. He didn't seem to make much money, yet he spent so much. Where did he get the money? My mom certainly gave him a lot of bonuses. He lived really nice, and I was suspicious. So, I had to tell my mom. One day, I overheard my mom talking on the phone in the evening. She was going to a restaurant, and I heard his name and decided to go too. I was able to find out through social media that it was for those lactose intolerant. I knew exactly what happens to their stomachs. I had so much diarrhea once, I couldn't take it anymore. I hid at the far table, ordered a cupcake with several kinds of cheese in it, asked for a smaller portion, and asked the waiter to give it to Lester from a stranger. I wanted to see a belly dance. But the waiter turned out to be new, mistook the table and handed my cupcake to a couple who were dining nearby. I could hear from the conversation that they had been through a long breakup and had decided to make up. And then, the waiter comes up and says, "Mister, this nice cupcake is for you from that young girl." "Oh, stupid," I said to myself under my breath, and covered my face with my hands. His companion got up from the table, poured wine over him, then took the cupcake and crushed it in his face. I neatly left the money at the table at this point and ran home. The plan had failed. I read from his profile that he often uses dry shampoo for his gorgeous hair, so I ordered one, poured the contents and stuffed some dye in it, and mailed it to his house. He was supposed to look like a Smurf, but in the evening, my mom came home with blue hair. She was mad, but she didn't explain anything. She said the hairdresser had messed it up and went to get it repainted in the morning. And I lay there all night thinking, why the hell does she have blue hair? Because Lester has dry shampoo at home, which meant that she stayed with him. It made me feel even worse. That bastard Lester. I got even madder and waited for him to come to work the next morning with a screwdriver. Oh, no, not blood. I'd rather gouge something out of him, not his eyes, obviously. I just punctured the tires of his car, and guess what? Turns out it wasn't his car. It was his boss's car. They tracked me down on the cameras, and they sued my mom. Turns out it was her boss's car too, and Lester was taking it to the car wash. My mom almost got fired because of me, but I was so mad. I was mad at myself, at the fact that my plans weren't working. I would come home and watch my dad cook and clean, and I felt sorry for him. Despair was already speaking to me. I found his address on my mom's home computer, where she had his resume saved. I just went to his place one night. He opened the door to me, standing there in a white robe with a mask on his face and a mug of coffee in his hands, looking at me with a dull look, and I was no longer in control of my anger. I just flew inside his apartment, screaming and yelling, demanding him to leave my mom alone. Lester stumbled, fell backwards, knocked the hot coffee all over himself. The lamp fell on top of him, and he pinned the cat on top of him too, who shrieked as if he were being killed. The mask flew off his face. He stood up in an incomprehensible pose and asked so quietly, who are you? I just yelled that I was his mistress's daughter, and that he had no right to destroy our family, that he was just a brat and that my father was 100 times better. Lester was standing there in shock, and then he was like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Then I saw my mom's jacket on the couch, and I was all shook up. Where's my mom? I asked. He pointed to the bathroom. I ran in there like a bullet and saw my mom standing there in her shirt and pants and laying out her makeup kit. Alexa, what are you doing here? I'm the one who should ask you. Aren't you ashamed? For what? You even ask? You're cheating on my father, and you're not even ashamed? What? What are you talking about? I got angrier and angrier. I grabbed the makeup kit, smashed everything on the floor, threw a bottle of perfume at the plasma TV, which immediately shattered. And then my mom put her arms around me and said, let's talk. I told her everything that had been driving me crazy these past 2 weeks. I cried and cursed them both, and they just laughed. What did I say that's so funny? Honey, I'd like you to meet Lester. He's my intern. He's in the men's cosmetics business, and I was just picking out a present for your dad. I was going to take him out to dinner tomorrow and introduce him to you. By the way, your father's known him for a long time and even hangs out with him. And Lester doesn't date girls. You catch my drift? Huh? Was all I could get out. Can you believe what I went through? My mom took me home, and I was silent the whole way. Teenagers. With all their shenanigans, my mom said. The next day, he did come to our house for dinner. Dad greeted him like family. Did you slip me the blue shampoo? And I just had a lot of it and gave it to your mom, said Lester. That was the end of my conspiracies. So, guys, if you're gonna accuse someone of cheating, you have to check the information. If you liked the video, then please like, comment, and subscribe.